Today is Saturday, July the 21st, 2018. Hello, and welcome to Weekly Astrology Notes for the week of July 22nd through the 29th, 2018. Highlights of the week. Well, we've got a busier week this week than last week. Starting on Sunday, it's an easygoing day, relaxing day with Venus sextile Jupiter. On Monday, Moon in Sagittarius gives us an optimistic start of the work week. On Tuesday, we've got a long void, of course, from early morning until early afternoon. It's really not a day for starting projects. It's also a bad day for making or signing agreements or for business negotiations, because we've got Venus opposition Neptune, and that's also going to lower your energy level, makes us more sensitive and open to the subtle vibrations around us, as well as very artistic and compassionate. You just got to be careful of playing the role of doormat or martyr. As well, it's kind of a tough aspect on relationships. On Wednesday, Sun square Uranus brings some restlessness and excitement that begins Tuesday evening, because it's early Wednesday, and then it carries through most of Wednesday. As well, Mercury goes retrograde on Wednesday, notably on a square to Jupiter. That's going to continue through the month of August. So there's some things to talk about there. And then on Thursday, a long void, of course, from morning until early the next day. So it's not a day for starting new projects. We also have Sun opposition Mars while retrograde, which is going to bring some tension. Ego positions are challenged. Lots of assertive energy. Forces us to rethink the positions we have taken. Another tough aspect on relationships as well. But things get a little better for relationships on Friday with Venus trine Pluto in the evening. It's going to make for great Friday night activities. You might meet someone who transforms your life for the better, or you could do that for someone else. It's a very good aspect for relationships. And then Saturday and Sunday, they're pretty carefree with the moon in Aquarius. Has us feeling independent and looking for a change of pace. And then on Sunday, while the moon's in Aquarius, we've got a long void, of course, from the early morning until the late afternoon. So we're really not in the mood for responsibility on the weekend. And thanks to one of my viewers who pointed out that Wikipedia had been updated to add Peter Strzok's, or Strokes, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, his birth data. So I got that, and I'm going to do a little analysis of his transits and chart synastry with Lisa Page. Okay, so let's get started with Sunday the 22nd. We start very early in the morning with the moon trine Sun. Lots of creativity. Fears subside. You can let down your guard a bit and share emotions with other people. Share feelings with other people more easily. Cancer to Scorpio. Able to share your intimate feelings with another. It goes very well with the next aspect, the Venus sextile Jupiter. It's just a really easygoing aspect that brings a pleasant disposition, encourages us to relax, let go, have a good time. It's a great aspect for a party or any sort of social occasion. Spend time with your friends, not feeling like work. So it's really nice that it falls on a weekend. Desire to indulge, maybe spend some money, a bit louder, humorous, extravagant, into luxury and comfort. And it's a lucky aspect as well. And it should be good for relationships, as both signs, Virgo and Scorpio, crave love and sex. So it's a really good aspect for relationships as well. Okay, so later, also in the morning, we've got the moon entering Sagittarius. We're more optimistic for the next couple of days. Sagittarius sees a world of possibilities, and we want to learn more, get better educated, and expand our horizons. And then in the early afternoon, the very energetic moon in Sagittarius sextile Mars in Aquarius. Great aspect for any sort of body therapy or body movement. You want to move your body in a different way. Just a lot of enjoyment of the physical body with that aspect. And then the Sun enters Leo in the afternoon. So happy birthday to Leos. Sun is in its dignity in Leo, where it's naturally self-expressive. Doesn't need an excuse, doesn't need a reason, just naturally that way. Creative and proud about it. As we move out of Cancer, where the creative energy has been focused on the home environment, Sun in Leo represents the start of a new cycle, where we're free to let the creative juices flow, letting go of inhibitions and fears. It gives us more courage, desire to be on stage and teach as well, and to spend more time with your kids. Moving along to Monday, we got a jovial start of the work week with Moon in Sagittarius. Although we do have this square to Venus happening early Monday morning, feelings and emotions are kind of out of sync. The critical nature of Virgo tends to expand at the square to Sagittarius. It's really not a good time for social occasions, but it's early Monday morning. And then later in the morning, we've got Moon square Neptune. And that's the Sagittarius to Pisces square, crisis to overcome limitations to what you don't see. It's kind of overreaching, causes you to be overreaching, possibly self-sacrificing, makes us easily deceived, need to engage in consciousness-raising activities in order to rise above the cloud of confusion. If you do, you can really expand your awareness quite a bit on this square. It's very good for expanding the mind. You just got to use it properly. Okay, moving along to Tuesday, the 24th. We start very early in the morning with Moon trine Mercury in fire signs, so we're feeling really inspired. Thoughts and emotions in harmony, lots of creative energy. It's a great time for public speaking. You know, Leo loves to take the stage. And then we've got a void of course that begins, and this one will last until the mid-afternoon. During that time, we're going to have Venus opposition Neptune. Happens just after midday, so it's really going to color the whole day. And this one will be 16 degrees of Virgo to 16 degrees of Pisces. Well, you know, Venus does rule our feelings, and Neptune really is going to cause a lot of expansion of our ability to feel. But at the same time, it kind of clouds things out. It sometimes brings disappointment and leaves us open to superstition. As well, we kind of delve into fantasy a little bit too much on these kind of aspects. Or sometimes, because of the energy of Neptune, you might believe yourself to be the martyr in a relationship. Now, the Venus in Virgo is very helpful, because that's the way Virgo is. And with this opposition to Neptune, it really expands that a lot. So you're really willing to give your time to others, even to a perfect stranger. As well, it leaves us open to the subtle vibrations around us. Very sensitive, you know, like a sponge. You really absorb a lot. Makes us more psychic. You just need to be careful how you interpret those psychic visions. However, note that Virgo gives us self-discipline, which is necessary to tap into your innate psychic abilities. It also brings out your innate artistic abilities. As well, you may feel very sensitive and compassionate towards others. Lowers your energy level, you know, not so able to stand up for yourself. It's really a bad day to sign or make agreements, because Venus, which rules Libra, rules all sorts of, you know, all that one-to-one interaction, business negotiations, agreements, and again, Neptune is clouding those things out, so it's really not a day for those things. As well, because it's in Virgo, the energy in the workplace may be a bit confusing or hard to discern today. Impressions mean a lot. Despite Virgo being focused on the details and all of the mundane affairs of the day, there's just this really strong influence from the non-material realm into the workplace today. So that's why you might feel a bit confused. Venus is our receptive side, and in Virgo, we're receptive to corrections, but also feelings of guilt and obligation. So you got to kind of watch out for that. The opposition from Neptune brings you into contact with just about anybody, because it's Neptune. You know, it's like the ocean, a sea of humanity. So it could bring strange encounters. Once again, you need to use discernment. And you may feel the weight of humanity today. It brings some depression. You are more receptive to the non-material world as well. So this is also going to leave us open to the world of spirits and fairies, guardian angels. Just be sure to use discernment. But whatever the experience, it's designed to open you up. show you something that you haven't seen before. So best to go on faith because, Pisces says, I believe. So it kind of governs faith. Basically, it's meant to bring you some faith as well. And basically, don't give into the superstitions or think the worst. It's generally not a good aspect for relationships or to start a new one. You might learn something about your partner that you did not know, or be deceived by a new partner. May need to forgive or just learn to accept what you cannot change. Things are dissolving, and that's what the action of Neptune is, to dissolve. And here we have Venus basically in its 12th step already, so it's kind of already dissolving in the sign of Virgo, and then the opposition to Neptune really increases that a lot. So there's just a lot of letting go. Best to let go of things willingly. Okay, and then in the early afternoon, the void, of course, ends when the moon enters Capricorn. So we are more concerned with duty and responsibility for the next couple of days, not as caring or sensitive towards others. We're more reserved, concerned with our reputation. Keep yourself busy. Live in the present moment. It's always what you want to do in Capricorn. And just don't worry about the future. And then in the evening, we've got Moon trine Uranus. Very earthy trine, Capricorn to Taurus, and it's got Uranus included. So ambitious and looking to earn some money, I would think, with Taurus there. But also very free with your own money. Kind of liberated. Uranus gives us a little bit of a liberating energy with our personal possessions. And with this aspect, you may be encouraged to spend money for your own benefit. A self-help book or course, something like that. Something to give you an edge in life. Bring you more success in Capricorn. And then late in the evening on Tuesday, Moon conjunct Saturn. So emotions contract. We're a bit inflexible and hesitant, not sure of ourselves. It's time for therapy and introspection because Saturn restructures whatever it touches, especially now in Capricorn. Moving along to Wednesday, the 25th, starting with an aspect that should be in effect on Tuesday evening as well, since it's so early in the morning on Wednesday, and that's Sun square Uranus. So that will be 2 degrees of Leo to 2 degrees of Taurus. So this one's going to make us mentally active, feeling a bit rebellious as well. Impulsive, rash, eccentric, as well as a bit impersonal. All of the Uranus traits. Strong need to do things your own way, kind of defiant against authority and traditional ways. Hard to compromise because it's in fixed signs. Generally not considerate of how others feel or the rights of others because you're kind of going your own way. But at the same time, I would like to emphasize that it is a very positive aspect in that it makes us mentally brilliant and, like I say here, mentally active. You could also feel a bit restless today and rather ambitious. But with the square, especially when it includes Leo, we tend to not be as aware of the rights of others unless we kind of stop and reflect a little bit. Nonetheless, the sudden change brings with it a lot of creativity and intelligence, and all of this is necessary to help you break out of a stagnant situation, see things in a new way, give you new ideas, new inspirations. The psychology of the Taurus to Leo square is the need for money and material security, or possibly the weight of material possessions. All of that interferes with the creative process. So sometimes you're not satisfied with what you have if it does not give you the freedom to express yourself as you see fit. I mean, what's the use of having lots of material possessions if it interferes with your creativity? So if your creative energy is blocked, this aspect makes you feel worse, and you feel a little bit more frustrated, causing outbursts, disagreements, as we struggle to create as we see fit. So it is good in that it helps you to overcome those blockages to your creativity. It can be really liberating in that way. So harnessing this energy is a must. Otherwise, it might come back at you as conflicts with others. Because recall that we're still under the Mars square Uranus aspect, which is still pretty close, and getting closer these days. And this one is already bringing a lot of tension. And we've got the Sun opposition Mars. That'll be happening tomorrow. So all three of these aspects are pretty connected. We've got this T-square with Sun opposition Mars and Uranus squaring both. So Uranus is under a lot of pressure. We feel kind of hemmed in, lack mobility and freedom to move around as you see fit, as you want. Your independence seems to be hampered in some way. And this set of two aspects we're getting today and tomorrow is certainly going to bring issues to a head, especially tomorrow with the opposition. So watch out for impulsive behavior that could lead to accidents. You may also find yourself willing or compelled by circumstances to spend money on yourself, something you need to do in order to bring more freedom to help you evolve. You're kind of in a crisis to express your personal values. And when Uranus gets into Taurus, we want to spend money on ourselves, self-help courses, that kind of a thing. And I've talked about this before in a couple of other aspects. Here again, and we're going to probably feel kind of compelled to do something like that. And this is in order to address any imbalance that's going to be created by this opposition. Okay, and I'll be talking about that as we get to it tomorrow. And like I mentioned, Uranus and Taurus is willing to spend money on itself, on yourself, taking classes and training and self-help courses, and whatever else it is to help you evolve or get an edge on life. And materials, possessions, especially new technology, may seem to hold more allure or promise of freedom. And as Uranus has just entered Taurus, folks are beginning to experience a change to their personal values. So experiences today will move us in that new direction. Lastly, this is a time of testing for groups and associations with all of that tension on Uranus there. So tension within groups have been simmering ever since Uranus entered Taurus, and this set of squares to Mars and the Sun means people get fed up with the direction of the group they are in because it doesn't reflect their personal values, and they leave. It's a time of testing to see if the methods of or the philosophy of the group that you are in reflect your personal values. So folks expect the group to reflect their personal values more than usual, but that may not be what is best for everyone in the group. So group infighting is something to watch out for with this aspect. But otherwise, I say it's a very inspirational and can be a very positive aspect, help us break through things that are holding us back. Okay, moving on to the moon aspects. We've got a moon sextile Jupiter in the early evening on Wednesday, and that one's going to bring a pleasant mood, has us feeling lucky. It's good for social gatherings. And also it's that Capricorn to Scorpio sextile, and that gives us energy to make a breakthrough. And now we're going to be doing a lot of rethinking with Mercury going stationary retrograde. Almost got that wrong. At 23 degrees 27 minutes of Leo. It's going to be going down to 11 degrees 32 minutes, and then it'll be going direct once again on August the 18th. So, all of that misspoken. There's a lot of Mercury retrograde. I must be picking up on the energy there. So during the time of retrograde, the energy of the planet turns inward. In this case, those of Mercury, which rules conscious thought processes, communication, writing, speaking, and short-distance travel. I should also mention it rules business and politics, business transactions. So all of these things are hard to express outwardly. It's not a good time for business or business negotiations, so best to hold back on any unnecessary communication, rethink and double-check everything you do before sending it. Okay? It would be a really good idea, like every email, whatever communications, double-check, reread it, look for, correct your errors before sending it out. Hesitancy, which can be a good thing if you correct your mistakes, but it also makes you kind of not sure of which direction to take. a need to take things slowly and carefully, waiting for other events to happen before you can begin. Events often do not go as planned. There's unexpected delay, an overreaction to things going wrong or more dramatic because it's in the sign of Leo. We see more breakdowns in technology, especially at the opposition to the moon in Aquarius, which is actually going to be happening this Sunday morning. In Leo, when things don't go as planned, pride gets hurt and we take it personally. Maybe get angry or too dramatic. The fixed nature of Leo makes it hard to make adjustments and deal with problems as they arise. As I see it, this being in Leo, the need to rethink needs to really be applied to yourself and the central being that you are. You need to rethink who you are. Do you live up to your own standards? How well do you really express your creativity? Are you really proud, that's Leo, of who you are? And on a greater level, rethinking of how you fit in with the group. And that's kind of what's going to be going on with this Mercury retrograde. But there are some really positive things about this that I want to point out, and that is that the biggest and really the only aspect for Mercury during this time is Mercury squaring Jupiter in Scorpio. You see, it's almost just beyond range as it goes into retrograde, but it'll be getting closer and closer and make 2 more passes of that square exactly in August. So I've already talked a lot about this aspect last week and at the end of the video. So if you're interested, you may want to go and take a careful listen to that. But basically, Jupiter is at the end of its 12-year cycle that begins with Sagittarius. Essentially, Jupiter is in its death cycle these days. So there's a rush to gather new information. Catch up on things that you missed. You're open to esoteric and psychic healing. Trying to realize things that you've missed in this cycle, what didn't work out as planned, looking for clues and rethinking. The rethinking quality of Mercury retrograde that we already have to do is really going to help us with regards to the fact that we're going to be doing a lot of rethinking related to Jupiter in the end of its death cycle. And in general, it's going to be giving us more optimism than the usual retrograde period. We're going to be more inspirational. The conscious mind turns inward to, in this case, to obtain vital information. That Scorpio energy doesn't mind getting turned inward. It gives us psychological insights, psychic impressions, the information you really need to become the powerful spiritual being that you truly are, which is what we're looking for with Jupiter in Scorpio. You want to become that powerful spiritual being, catch up on all those things that you missed. So this Mercury square is going to really help with that. Mentally expansive during the whole time of retrograde motion, and we should be using this energy to learn, expand our minds, develop greater cosmic awareness, that's Jupiter, of ourselves, realize how important we all are in the grand scheme of things. So there's a lot of good things to do while we're rethinking this Mercury retrograde period. Okay, finishing up the day on Wednesday, we've got a moon sextile Neptune late in the evening. That's the Capricorn to Pisces. Sextile makes us philanthropic, desire to help those who truly deserve it. More sensitive and easily influenced by those around us. Idealistic and a little bit delusional. Okay, moving along to Thursday the 26th. We start very early in the morning with Moon trine Venus. Virgo to Capricorn is self-disciplined, efficient use of your energy. And with these planets, gives us a pleasant disposition while doing it. So that's very nice. And then also in the morning on Thursday, Moon conjunct Pluto. This one brings up intense feelings, come to the surface, demanding, looking to transform some aspect of your life. Very useful in the home. It also gives us an opportunity to develop a new base emotional state, something we can do once a month with this aspect, Moon conjunct Pluto. So it can be very transformative. And then we've got a long void of course. So this one's going to continue until early tomorrow morning. So basically early Thursday until early Friday. So really Thursday is not a day to start new projects. and might feel a little bit frustrated if you were to try and do so anyway with this next aspect, Sun opposition Mars, retrograde. This one will be 4 degrees of Leo to 4 degrees of Aquarius. Creative energies come to meet powerful forces, which either come together, because sometimes egos working together, that works really well for Mars, but more often than not, they stand in strong opposition to one another and fight. And as I'll discuss more about tomorrow concerning the full moon, we've got a Leo to Aquarius opposition here. And this opposition asks us to find ways to express our creative energy in the outer world. As you can imagine, Leo is below the horizon, Aquarius is above the horizon. Leo is our creative energy, and the mirror reflection of that is our creative energy in the outer world, where we find friends and associates, and together we do something bigger than ourselves. So it gives our creativity expression in the outer world. It also becomes a group effort. So here we see an attempt to do just that. But the opposition to Mars means it is met with ego-based opposition. Now, if those egos are in agreement, then it's very productive. But if not, then there's a potential for conflict. Generally speaking, ego energies are running high, and any egotistical positions you take today, or even those you have taken in the past, could get challenged. So despite being motivated by your own creative inspiration and desire to work within a group, you need to be sure that your ideas are in agreement with the group, or at least with current trends. And I'm thinking that because trends are in such a state of flux these days, if you are out of step with current trends, some encounter today may point that out to you. And I say that because trends is ruled by Aquarius. And today folks are just more dramatic, and some folks are just looking for fame and want to get a lot of attention. Relationships suffer a bit as partners are looking to assert themselves more, get more of what they want out of a relationship, which is great if both partners agree, but if not, then conflict. So be sure to give one another lots of space today. Generally, just be more aware of all of your one-to-one interactions with others and not be so assertive. Reconsider the need to assert yourself. Mars retrograde demands that we rethink all egotistical positions that we have taken, regardless of how right you think you are. People are just looking for someone to disagree with today, and it would be a shame if someone decided to argue with you instead of rethink their own position. Instead, seek to work with others towards a common goal. And I should say, it will also make us very energetic. Gives us lots of physical energy, and that can be very pleasurable for the body. If you really put your energy out there and break a sweat, that would probably be a really good way of expressing this energy and keep it from getting bottled up inside. Okay, moving along to Friday the 27th. Very early in the morning, that long void, of course, ends when the moon enters Aquarius. So we're more interested in our social obligations for the next couple of days, more aware of trends, new ideas, more friendly but in an impersonal way. Folks like to be different, more independent. Sometimes it brings out quirky behavior, especially with this next aspect, moon in Aquarius squaring Uranus. Early in the morning on Friday, disruptions as everyone seems to be going their own way and not thinking about where others are going. Very independent, stubborn yet very intelligent, more aware of the social order and a desire to break free from it. Ambitious, looking for opportunities for social advancement, brings out unconventional behavior as well as an attraction to the unusual. And then right about noon on Friday, we've got the moon conjunct Mars retrograde. Impulsive, can lead to erratic, rash, and poorly thought out behavior. Think before you commit. Lots of emotional energy, but it needs to be internalized now. Use this as physical energy for your body. Good time for a workout. And then in the early afternoon, we've got the full moon. Sun opposition Moon. Once again, that Leo to Aquarius opposition. So we've got the usual crisis for fulfillment that comes with the full moon. That and recognition, which brings out both the good and the bad sides of your character. The Leo to Aquarius opposition is all about devoting your creative energy to something bigger than yourself. This is manifested most notably in how we create children who grow up to be something more than who we are. That desire to create something bigger than yourself, that's Aquarius. So it makes us so ambitious. But of course it takes on a variety of expressions. But that's the basic idea. So at this full moon, you feel compelled to create something bigger than yourself and are looking for recognition and fulfillment from others. We are keen to see our creative ideas find expression in the outer world, which can bring a conflict between your individual needs and the needs of the group. So you need to be mindful of the rights of others and not dominate, allow others to be as free and independent as you are, even if that means being independent of you for a time. It's especially true with the accompanying Moon conjunct Mars and Sun opposition Mars. So you really need to give people their own space and let them be emotionally free, especially while the Moon's in Aquarius. It could be a culmination of your efforts within a group. It may occur now as you question whether or not you can still conform to the group philosophy. If not, you may decide to go your own way. And then relationship aspects take a turn for the better on Friday evening with the Venus trine Pluto. And that will be 19 degrees of Virgo to 19 degrees of Capricorn. So Venus does get quite a few wonderful aspects while it's in its detriment in Virgo. These trines to Saturn and Uranus and now to Pluto as well. So while Venus is in Virgo, we're attracted to and appreciate work as well as the everyday mundane tasks of life. So the trine to Pluto is going to invoke a strong attraction to getting your work done, attending to the mundane aspects of life, cleaning up, Virgo loves to get clean, and renovating your personal environment. Also a strong attraction to money and success, possibly bring about opportunities for material success. Your work environment may be more interesting than usual. Pluto may bring some disruptions for the better, but more drive and more ambition. So a good time to seek ways to fine-tune your talents. Venus is very talented because it's so delicate and it has a lot of artistic and musical ability and loves to dance. So during this time of Venus in Virgo, we should be perfecting our Venus qualities, and these wonderful trines to Saturn, Uranus, and now Pluto are giving us opportunities to do that, to fine-tune your talents, learn to dance, learn to do something that requires practice and patience, but makes you look really good when you've done the work, because of course Venus loves to look good. Along with the trines to Saturn and Uranus, Venus in Virgo is making it a good time to develop some artistic discipline. For example, at the last two trines, I recently rearranged my personal space to make room for my music equipment, so I can practice more easily and more often. It's things like that. As well, aspect brings a lot of pleasure and enjoyment of the physical body. And Virgo and Scorpio, they crave love and sex. So this aspect should be really good for coupling and for relationships. One that starts now is sure to have a lot of physical energy. And lastly, in Virgo, we're looking for ways to enhance our health regime. Another thing we should be doing while Venus is in Virgo. And this aspect brings a lot of opportunity for that as well. Pluto brings regeneration and rejuvenation. No better aspect for making improvements to your health regime, like what you put in your body, your vitamins and herbs and stuff like that. We're very open and receptive to what is good for you, what's wholesome. So today, look for some good ideas to fix problems with your diet. You're more likely to find them and people who are willing to help you and make a change for the better. It should be an excellent day for health food establishments and I would say a good day for business in general. Okay, so then we're moving on to Saturday, the 28th, and we've got Moon in Aquarius squaring Jupiter in the morning. So a good aspect for a party. Emotions expand, we're a bit exuberant, but with poor financial judgment. And generally, with the Moon in Aquarius, we're just looking for a lot of freedom today. And then moving along to Sunday, it's very much the same. Here we've got the Moon in Aquarius to opposition Mercury in Leo. That could bring some breakdowns of machines and equipment. And then a void, of course, begins and then lasts until late in the afternoon. So most of the day we have a moon void, of course. I would say a good day to relax and not start any new projects. Kind of do what you want, be free and independent. And then later in the afternoon, the moon enters Pisces. We're more sensitive and compassionate for the next couple of days. We're more in tune with the subtle vibrations around us, other people's feelings and emotions, and the spirit world. We have more access to psychic energy. But often we're in need of sanctuary during this time, not so interested in the material realm. We want to know the spiritual cause of life's problems. We're more patient, kind, willing to sacrifice our time, and it's also a good time for artistic endeavors. And then later in the evening, we've got the moon in Pisces sextile Uranus in Taurus. I really like this sextile. When it comes from Capricorn into Pisces, Capricorn's kind of rigid, and it's kind of hard to get that non-material Pisces energy. But when it goes into Taurus, the sensual energy of Taurus, which is still an earth sign, really loves that Pisces energy. So it's a really great time for a massage. We're open to folks that are different from us, very sensual energy, desire to try something out of the norm. And the best combination of signs for getting a massage, working with healing stones as well. Uranus opens the mind, and the psychic energy of Pisces opens us up to communication with fairies, nature spirits, and guardian angels. So I would say Sunday evening is a good time for social gatherings, especially with a spiritual theme. You can meet people who really enlighten you with that sextile to Uranus. Time to make new friends, or just good time to spend with your existing friends. And then later in the evening, we've got the sextile coming from the other side, the moon sextile Saturn in Capricorn, and this one makes us sensitive and rather compassionate. Well, that's all this week for the aspects. Moving along to big stories for the week. Peter Strzok. Thanks to Sam Evans, I got his correct birth time. And taking a look at his transits, by the way, I wouldn't surprise me if the guy's a Scorpio rising with Neptune close to the ascendant. But anyway, looking at his transit, you'll see Neptune at 16 degrees of Pisces is conjuncting his sun. So it's certainly a bit of a confusing time for him. He's already a Pisces. It probably makes him feel rather lost, like he is being sacrificed, which is probably the case. Because obviously there's people more powerful than him that are not on the hot seat like he is, and probably feels like, everything he believed in is going away. Everything he could, had faith in is dissolving. All of that Pisces energy, all of those issues regarding Neptune and Pisces. So his faith has been shattered, and he feels like he's being sacrificed. Also, he's got this opposition from Jupiter here at 5 degrees of Scorpio to Saturn at 5 degrees Taurus, and Mars is close by at 0 Taurus. So he's going through a lot of changes with the Uranus conjunct Taurus, changes to his identity, made him very ambitious. But you'll see here, transiting Mars, retrograde, currently at 6 degrees of Aquarius, is squaring both sides of that opposition. And I think that really speaks a lot to why everyone is going over the ego positions, because it's Mars. Because you listen to his emails, they're very egotistical. So they're kind of going over his ego positions and how that squares this issue that's been created in his life with the Jupiter opposition, Saturn, and Mars. So that in itself probably brings up a lot of restriction in his life, hasn't been able to grow and do the things that he's wanted to do. It brings up a bit of a rebellious spirit in him, and as well as poor judgment with the Saturn opposition Jupiter. So this square to Mars really seems to be having an effect on that. And Saturn is actually making beneficial aspects to that same set of planets on the opposition. And it looks to me like that's kind of slowing him down. It's also retrograde, so there's like a review that authority is doing. And he just seems to be adding more energy to that set of oppositions he's got going there, and that seems to be the main issue. But there's also his extramarital affair, and that points to the Venus at 26 degrees of Pisces, opposing his Pluto exactly at 26 degrees of Virgo. That one really makes sense there, and you'll see when we do the chart synastry with Lisa Page, his lover, take a look where her Venus is. Well, it's 27 degrees of Gemini, squares that natal Pluto opposition Venus. So that really is very karmic. As well, her Saturn opposes his Sun and his Venus. So that really brings a lot of restriction into his life. You know, I think they probably had a past life together in a relationship, what with her Venus squaring his Venus, as well as her Jupiter right on top of his South Node. But you'll see her natal Mars conjunct Pluto in the sign of relationships, Libra. She's going to be attracted to a married man. He's got Uranus in Libra there, conjuncting that conjunction in her natal chart. And with her Mercury there in Cancer, squaring that natal Mars in Pluto, you know, she can definitely keep a secret about an extramarital affair. So I could definitely see the synastry that brought all of this about. Well, that's all for this week. Once again, thanks for viewing and liking my video and sharing my video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. You can check out my website at tomsocalm.com or my Twitter feed at tomjordan364, or contact me if you're interested in an astrology reading or a Reiki healing. Well, many blessings and have a great day.